Hey guys, this is question FM086 of the Further Maths Sharpened Study Guide. So to get straight into it, this question states the scatter plot below plots male stress levels against female stress levels in Year 12 for a number of schools. So a least squares regression line has been fitted to the scatter plot as shown. So we've got our male stress levels and our female stress levels. These actually have percentages attributed to it. The graph looks pretty much like this, but you guys can have a look at your books or your downloads to see the exact values. And what they tell us before part A is that the slope of this least squares regression line is 0.92. So our gradient is 0.92, and part A is asking us to interpret the slope in terms of the variables male stress levels and female stress levels. So what does this slope of 0.92 actually mean? And what we want to do here is we want to look at what happens for every 1 unit increase, or in this instance for every 1% increase in female stress levels, what is happening to our male stress levels. So if we have a gradient of 0.92, what we can say is something along the lines of the following. So on average, and it's very important that we say on average, because we're talking about this line here, but our points of data don't actually fall exactly on the line the whole way. So we've taken an average to build our regression line. So it's very important that when we make, when we interpret things about the regression line, that we say on average. On average, male stress levels increase, and we can say that it increases because we've got an increasing trend here, increase by 0.92% for every 1% increase in female stress levels. So this line here says, on average, male stress levels increase by 0.92% for every 1% increase in female stress levels. How do we know that? Because the slope is 0.92. So for every 1 that we run, we're jumping 0.92. So for every we're using rise over run. If we rise 0.92, we're running 1. So that's how we interpret this, and this is a fairly straightforward template for answering a question like this. So when they ask you to interpret the slope, on average, y increases by whatever the slope is for every 1 unit increase in x, or instead of y and x, the response variable and the explanatory variable. So that's question A. Question B then says, down here, so they give us the equation of the least squares of regression line. So they give us this, which is the following. So male equals 6.6 plus 0.92 times female. And these are, of course, the stress levels. And part B says, in a particular school, female stress levels were at 40%. Use the equation to predict male stress levels for that school. So to do that, we substitute our 40% in for the female stress levels. So 6.6 plus 0.92 times 40. And that's going to end up giving us 6.6 plus 0.92 times 40, 36.8. which is all up equal to 40, what is that? 43.4. Yeah, awesome. So in this particular school, we're predicting that since the female stress levels are at 40%, we're predicting that the male stress levels are going to be at 43.4%. So 43.4% is our prediction, and that's our answer for part B. Part C then goes on to talk about the coefficient of determination. Now, not to be confused with the correlation coefficient. The coefficient of determination is r squared. And in this case, they've told us the coefficient of determination is 0.71. 0.71. Interpret the coefficient of determination in terms of male stress levels and female stress levels. So what the coefficient of determination tells us is the amount, or the percentage of variation in the response variable, in this case the male, that is explained by the variation in our explanatory variable. So this r squared equals 0.71 means that we're attributing 71% of the variation. So what our answer might be is something along the lines of 71% of the variation in male stress levels can be explained by the variation in female stress levels. So once again, this is a fairly straightforward template for this kind of question. When you're asked to interpret the coefficient of determination, we do it pretty much the same way. So whatever our percentage is, so 71% or a percentage of the variation in, and then our response variable or our y value, so male stress levels, can be explained by the variation in our x value or our explanatory value. So percentage of the variation in response variable can be explained by the variation in explanatory variable. Now, after you do this a few times, you'll start to see how these sentences pan out. You've got to make sure that this sentence actually makes sense. You might be given variables that don't fit into a template like that nicely. So it's important to make sure that you're vetting yourself, having a look, and making sure that the sentence actually makes sense at the end. But that is the answer that you would give for part C. That's interpreting the coefficient of determination in terms of male stress levels and female stress levels. We've used both those terms there, 0.71. So there you have it. Guys, if you have any questions about any of the parts of this question, please feel free to drop them in the comments below or shoot us a direct message on our Facebook page at Triumph Tutoring. And someone will be sure to help you out.